Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Education is the movement from darkness to light. My topic of presentation is plague. In this presentation, I'm going to introduce you to the topic. We are going to discuss epidemiological triad, chain of transmission, levels of prevention, and recent advances regarding plague. Learning outcome would be at the end of the presentation, you will be able to describe epidemiological triad, prevention aspects, and recent advances. Introduction. Plague is an infectious disease caused by Yersinia pestis bacteria. Plague can be a very severe disease in people, particularly in its septicemic and pneumonic form, with case fatality of 30 to 100% if left untreated. This disease has three most important aspects. Number one is the rat flea, which is the vector for this disease, and the rats on which the flea lives, and rats are the natural reservoir of the bacteria Yersinia pestis. And when the infected fleas bite humans, then the humans get the plague. This is the life cycle of plague. Plague in nature, the reservoir of the infection are the rats, and on which the rat flea lives, and they continually infect the rats only. But if this happens when the disease is exotic in the rodents. But when epizootics occur, the rats start dying from plague, and the fleas bite humans and other pet animals, and as a result of which humans and other animals can also get infected with plague. There are three types of plague: bubonic plague, septicemic plague, and pneumonic plague. Bubonic plague is the most common type, in which the fever occurs, headache, chills, and weakness of one or more lymph nodes. In this type of plague, the infection is in the lymph nodes, as a result of which lymph nodes get enlarged. And if not treated, it can spread to other parts of the body and can cause septicemic plague or pneumonic plague. In septicemic plague, the bacteria enters the bloodstream. In bubonic plague, it was confined to the lymph node, but in septicemic plague, the bacteria is in blood. And the clinical features include fever, chills, extreme weakness, abdominal pain, shock, and possibly bleeding into skin and other organs. And skin and tissues may turn black and die, especially of fingers, toes, and nose. Septicemic plague can occur as a first symptom of plague or may develop from untreated bubonic plague. Mostly bubonic plague progresses to septicemic plague, but septicemic plague can occur in isolation as a result of contamination with the infected materials from the animals. In pneumonic plague, the bacteria enters the lungs. It is characterized by fever, headache, weakness, and rapidly developing pneumonia with shortness of breath, chest pain, cough, and sometimes bloody and watery mucus. And pneumonic plague may develop from inhaling infectious droplets or may develop from untreated bubonic or septicemic plague after bacteria spread to lungs. This type of plague is important because after this plague develop, person to person transmission occurs via the respiratory infectious droplets. This is a picture of the forms of plague. The first is the bubonic plague, in which the inguinal lymph node is enlarged as the result of this infection. In septicemic plague, this bacteria has invaded the bloodstream, and as a result of which the tissue is dead. And in pneumonic plagues, the lungs are infected, as seen in the X-ray. History of plague. Plague has been responsible for widespread pandemics throughout the history. These are the three greatest pandemics. The first pandemic was in AD 541, which is known as Plague of Justinian. It affected the areas of Europe and the Mediterranean region. The second is the Black Plague in 1348 AD. This is the biggest plague pandemic in the history of the earth, and it affected the Europe. And it's more than one third of population of Europe was wiped out as a result of this pandemic. Third pandemic occurred in 1855 in region of China and India. This is a famous nursery rhyme, Ring a Ring of Roses. It was originated in the Black Plague. Ring a Ring of Roses means that the ring of roses, the lymph nodes are enlarged and they cause reddish skin. A pocket full of posies were the flowers which were used to called wall of the houses which had cases of plague. A tissue shows the respiratory signs which occurred as a result of pneumonic plague, and we all fall down is actually death. Global prevalence from 2010 to 2015, there were 3248 cases reported worldwide, including 584 deaths. Plague is found in all continents, but most human cases since 1990 have occurred in Africa. And three most endemic countries of this disease include Democratic Republic of Congo, Madagascar, and Peru. This is an area map of the foci, natural foci of plague in 2016. And in Eastern Mediterranean region of Pakistan, of WHO, in which Pakistan is included, plague has been reported sporadically in Iran, Iraq, Libya, and Pakistan over the past decades. Coming to the epidemiological triad, which includes agent, host, and the environment. Agent for this disease is bacteria, which is Yersinia pestis. It is gram-negative, non-motile, rod-shaped Coccobacillus and without spores. Vector for this disease is the rat flea. Humans usually get plague after being bitten by a rodent flea or rat flea that is carrying the plague bacterium. Rat fleas. When the rat flea gets infected with the bacteria Yersinia pestis, two types of fleas can occur. One is the blocked flea, and the second one is the partially blocked flea. In blocked flea, the bacteria Yersinia pestis multiplies in the gut of this flea, as a result of which there is complete obstruction of the gastrointestinal tract, and this block flea bites the human a lot, and it is an efficient transmitter of plague. But this flea dies soon because of obstruction of GI tract. A partially blocked flea is more dangerous than completely blocked flea because it can live longer, and partially infected fleas may live up to a year, and certain species in burrows for as long as 4 years. So they can keep infecting humans and other rodents. Host factors. All ages are susceptible for this disease. Both males and females are susceptible. Immunity, there is no natural immunity to this disease, and immunity after recovery is relative. Environmental factors. Unsanitary conditions promote this disease. After natural disasters, epidemics, and pandemics can occur. Those who work or live near the wild animals are at higher risk of getting this disease. People living in rural areas and with poor housing conditions promote the spread of rodents and this disease. Modes of transmission can occur via three ways. Number one is the flea bite, which is already discussed that the rat fleas, after biting infected rats, they can bite humans and other animals as well, and they can cause plague. Second mode is contact with infected or contaminated products of infected animals on the human broken skin or human mucus, which can cause septicemic plague, and infectious droplets can cause pneumonic plague. Incubation period of this disease is from 3 to 7 days, and the case fatality ratio of 30 to 100% if left untreated. Coming to the levels of prevention, which include primary, secondary, and the tertiary level. Primary prevention can be done by health education to the community which is at risk about the modes of spread and this disease, prevent flea bites, reduce rodent habitat, make homes and buildings rodent proof, wear gloves if you are handling infected animals to prevent contact between your skin and the plague bacteria. Insect repellents can be applied to skin as well as clothing, and keep fleas off the pets by applying flea control products, as other pet animals can also be affected by this disease. Specific protection. Multiple vaccines are under trial. Most of them have less efficacy and many side effects. WHO does not recommend these vaccines for routine immunoprophylaxis. Secondary prevention includes early diagnosis and prompt treatment. Diagnosis can be done by identifying Yersinia pestis from a sample of pus, blood, or sputum under microscope after staining. Culture can be done, and specific Yersinia pestis antigen can be detected by different techniques. Rapid dipstick test is now used in Africa and South America with the support of WHO. Clinical features. Symptoms of bubonic plague include fever, headache, malaise, swelling of lymph nodes, and in pneumonic plague, there's fever, headache, and respiratory symptoms such as cough, hemoptysis, dyspnea, and chest pain. Treatment. Plague is a very serious illness, but it is treatable with commonly available antibiotics. Commonly used antibiotics are streptomycin, gentamicin, doxycycline, and ciprofloxacin. Untreated plague can be rapidly fatal. Surveillance and control of this disease is important in areas where plague is still endemic. In order to efficiently and effectively manage plague outbreaks, it is crucial to have informed and vigilant healthcare workforce for conduct ongoing surveillance, to control vectors and hosts, to communicate, to confirm diagnosis with lab tests, and to communicate findings to appropriate authorities. Case classification. A suspected case is the one a clinically compatible case with epidemiological linkage without lab evidence. A probable case is the one a clinically compatible case with presumptive lab evidence without epidemiological linkage. And a confirmed case is a clinically compatible case with confirmatory lab evidence. Facts about plague. As already discussed, that plague is an infectious disease, and if left untreated, that can result in that can be rapidly fatal, and it can be cured rapidly with antibiotics and supportive care. It is caused by the rat flea. When rat flea bites the humans, that results in the bubonic plague, which affects the lymph nodes. And if it is left untreated, the bacteria can spread to the lungs. That can result in pneumonic plague, and person to person transmission can occur in the pneumonic plague. In middle eras, it was also known as black death. An estimated 50 million deaths occur in Europe during the black plague, and in modern era 30 to 48 people were infected, and out of which 584 died. And a plague is still common in Madagascar, Democratic Republic of Congo, which are in Africa, and Peru, which is in South America. For control of plague, we have to control the cases, control of the fleas, and anti-rodent measures. For control of cases, early diagnosis is important. Notification of this disease under international health regulation. This disease is notifiable to World Health Organization. Isolation of cases and treatment with antibiotics and supportive care. And disinfection is important because infected materials can transmit this disease. Control of fleas can be done with insecticides and repellents. Anti-rodent measures can be taken like rat trapping, rodenticides, and fumigation. Updates about this disease. This is an article showing antimicrobial resistance. Yersinia pestis, a problem of the past, can be a re-emerging threat as a result of antimicrobial resistance. This organism can also be used as bioterrorism because of the pneumonic plague. Plague has been identified by CDC as category A agent, meaning that it is given high priority due to its potential threat to national security, and plague can be used as a bioweapon. Yersinia pestis used in aerosol attack could cause cases of pneumonic plague, and after 1 to 6 days, the people develop symptoms, and during the incubation period they can infect the other people with contact with them, and this bacteria can be easily grown in labs as well. Now it's the time for the MCQs. In life cycle of plague, human acts as a primary host, secondary reservoir, accidental intruder of rat flea cycle. Yes, the correct answer is accidental intruder of the rat flea cycle. Which of the following is associated with Black Death?
B.
Yes, plague is associated with Black Death. Which of the following statements is not correct about Yersinia pestis? The bacteria can cause pneumonia in humans through airborne droplets. It can cause septicemia in humans. Lymph nodes are not involved in bubonic plague. The common source of transmission to humans is through rat.
D.
C. Lymph nodes are involved in bubonic plague. Under international health regulations, which of the following disease is notifiable to WHO? Typhoid, mumps, human plague, and
C.
tuberculosis. Yes, human plague is notifiable. Which type of plague is most serious form of the disease and
C.
spread from person to person? Yes, pneumonic plague can spread from person to person. Which of the following preventive measures should not be taken during plague outbreak? Reduce rodent habitat around the home. Keep fleas off the pets by applying flea control products. Use repellents if you think you can be exposed to rodent fleas. Reduce cats in the area.
D.
D. The correct answer is D. Reduce cats in the area is not done because cats naturally work by reducing the rodents. Which of the following is not included in bioterrorism agents of CDC? Smallpox, chickenpox, plague, anthrax, or dengue? Yes,
C.
chickenpox is not included in the category A list. Plague could be a public health threat in modern times because of its emerging antimicrobial resistance, previous pandemics in past, potential of congenital anomalies, diagnostic tests difficult to perform.
B.
Alpha, it's emerging antimicrobial resistance. Currently, plague is not a public health problem in,
C. Spain.
yes, it's not a public health problem in Spain. Incubation period of plague is A, 3 to 7 days. Yes, correct answer. These are the references, and thank you.